help, and he agrees to help her get out of the city. Louis, suspecting that he lied to her about getting a message from Jerome, forces him to give her his pager, and as she learns that he indeed received a message from Jerome, she takes his car and leaves him behind. Franklin lets Teddy know that he wants his money back, and he has till morning to decide on what he is going to do. Sissy and Leon reach there in order to keep an eye on Teddy, as Franklin promised Gustavo to help him get out of the country. Franklin flies Gustavo to Mexico and assures him that he need not worry about Teddy, as he won't walk away. At the warehouse, Teddy pleads to Sissy to allow him to go and claim that he never killed Alton, but got him arrested, and he can take her to him. While Ruben also wants Sissy to cut him loose, telling her that if she doesn't, his superiors will leak recordings that they have of Franklin's illegal dealings. Franklin returns back, but Teddy refuses to give Franklin access to his bank account. Franklin starts to play Russian roulette with him.
have no desire to see
Seeing
what he got
Lucy's
up to.
Sissy and Leon want to give up Teddy to
Strauss,
Ruben
don't play
and leave the country.
Okay, we
Franklin
need
lets
main
them
power
know
restored to the
he's not
central
going to give up
database if we're going to
until he
find
gets his
Maya's
money.
brother Nathan.
The years inside
Also
left me
reaches
with a
there,
lot of pent-up
tells
anger.
Franklin
Nice
they
to
are
have
soon
some
going to
things
lose
to
one of
take
their
it out
properties
on.
without the money. And she suggests to Franklin to burn the Lucy back, that if she doesn't, his superiors will leak recordings that they have of Franklin's illegal dealings. Franklin returns back, but Teddy refuses to give Franklin access to his bank accounts, and Franklin starts to play Russian roulette with him.
I don't wish to sound
Seeing
ungrateful,
Lucy's
Pick,
trip,
but your
Sissy and
timing
Leon
for this
want to
rescue
give up
mission
Teddy to
was
Ruben and leave the
not
country,
ideal.
but Franklin lets them know that he is not going to give up until he gets his
Hey,
money.
I don't know why this outbreak happened
Verily
now,
also
but I've
reaches
spent
there
half my
and
life
informs
in the
Franklin
breeze of
that they are soon
shit-covered
going to lose one of
fans.
their properties with them. Franklin is superior foe and claimed that he never killed Alton, but got him arrested, and he can take her to him. While Ruben also wants Sissy to cut him loose, telling her that if she doesn't, his superiors will leak recordings that they have of Franklin's illegal dealings. Franklin returns back, but Teddy refuses to give Franklin access to his bank accounts, and Franklin starts to play Russian roulette with him. Seeing him lose his grip, Sissy and Leon want him to give up Teddy to Ruben and leave the country. But Franklin lets them know that he is not going to give up until he gets his money. Veronique also reaches there and informs Franklin that they are soon going to lose one of their properties without the money. And she suggests to Franklin to burn Teddy with hot oil in order to extract the information from him. Franklin begins to torture Teddy, but Teddy, knowing that the money is the only leverage, he is over and refuses to give it up. As they get talking, Franklin tells him that he considered him to be a friend and hoped that they will enjoy barbecues together, while Teddy lets him know that he took the money as he felt hurt, since Franklin stopped doing business with him. They later come to an understanding of splitting the money 50-50. Teddy gives him his account number and tells him that once he is out, he will make a call to transfer the money, and for now, he can have half of the money moved to an escrow account. Franklin agrees to his terms and calls Havemeyer in order to meet for an exchange, where he will give up Teddy, as well as the KGB asset to him. Sissy, getting to know about Franklin's deal, is quite upset with him, as he is only obsessed with money, while she wanted to avenge her husband. Sissy tries to convince Franklin not to do so, but Franklin seems fixated on the money. Sissy then lets him know that if he wants to do it, then she will accompany him, but after it is done, they will never speak again, and Franklin agrees to it. Havemeyer meets them for the exchange at a payphone. Teddy dials the bank in order to authenticate the transfer, but before he could, Sissy asks him in which prison he sent her husband, and Teddy lets her know that he lied to her, and that he indeed killed her husband. And before Teddy could authenticate the transfer, Sissy shoots and kills him. Sissy surrenders to the police, while Franklin gets away from there. Franklin later gives Ruben to Havemeyer in order to keep the CIA off his back. At the trial, Sissy confesses to killing Teddy and is given a life sentence. As Franklin visits her and asks why she killed Teddy, she refuses to speak to him. While Wanda, not being able to take everything that was happening, decides to return back to Ghana. Franklin asks Leon for a loan, but Leon, believing that Sissy killed Teddy in order to keep Franklin away from money, refuses to help him out, despite Franklin threatening him. Leon later visits Sissy, and she tells him that Franklin is lost, but he is one of her greatest surprises, and she advises him to follow Wanda. While Veronique knowing that they don't have money to pay for the downtown property, tries to find the value of their stake behind Franklin's back. As Franklin gets to know this, he gets quite upset. He tells Veronique that in order to meet their expenses, he sold his South Central properties to Sissy's old boss. Veronique was not thrilled by this decision, as he took it without consulting with her, but hearing this, Franklin loses it, and he chokes her, and tells her that she should never do anything behind his back again. Veronique, realizing what Franklin has become, leaves him, and runs away with his remaining money. As Franklin realizes this, he visits Sissy again, and asks her to sign over the house to him, so that he could sell it, in order to stay afloat, but Sissy refuses to speak to him. Franklin has a meltdown, and he blames her for everything, and he tells her that it would have been good if Teddy could have killed her. A few months later, Top Notch gives Franklin the location of Peaches' house. As Franklin confronts Peaches, he tells him that the money he stole is in a safe, but as he tries to shoot him, Franklin was able to draw first, and he kills Peaches. He hides Peaches' body, and calls a locksmith to get the safe open. As he begins to open the safe, they get interrupted by one of Peaches' friends, and Franklin kills him. As he finally gets the safe open, he finds that almost all of the money is gone. He lets the locksmith have the remainder of the money, and allows him to leave, but then changes his mind, and kills him. 2 years later, we get to see the DEA agent Tony hunting for Louie, and he almost caught her, working at a farm. While Gustavo works as a wrestling teacher, and he gets a message on the number he gave to Xiomara, who lets him know that they are safe, and invites him to see his family in North Carolina. 1 more year later, we get to see Leon, returning back to his town, in order to start a free legal clinic. He goes to Franklin's house, which is now in ruins, and he finds Franklin living there, who is now an alcoholic, and has lost everything. Leon offers to get Franklin a job at the clinic, but Franklin turns him down. As they return back to the house, they find that the LAPD is about to seize his house for unpaid property tax. Leon offers to help Franklin, but Franklin rejects Leon's offer and tells him that with the house gone, he is now free from all of it. As the season ends, he tells Leon that he is his best friend and that he is proud of him. And we see Franklin walking away from Leon, who has tears in his eyes. And the series continues on the same stream where it began.
Power the guard's computer only shows local files.
Thanks for watching.
And I have no
If you
desire
like
to
it,
see those
please subscribe.
in spare time. Yeah, Strauss, don't click that. Okay, we need main power restored.
With Snowfall
to the central
Season 5
database.
coming up on February 23rd, I plan an entire schedule of weekly breakdowns from now, Season 1, all the way to a Season 5 prediction video the week before the season premiere. So, just as I promised, this is a complete Season 1 breakdown, and I've done the Season 4 breakdown already. If you haven't seen it, it'll be linked above and below. Real quick before we...
Welcome to GDs, and this is Snowfall Season 6.
I've seen my share of
Season
secret labs,
starts.
and believe
Franklin,
me, there's a
letting
reason
Veronique
why
know
they're
that
always
he robbed
located
League and
far
Jerome,
the fuck
and
away
what-
from everything. It's good that even an imbecile such as yourself understands why such a decision is prudent.
Can I remind you, crybaby fucks, that we're in the eye of a force-10 shitstorm?
Amp unit activated. Please stand by.
Richthofen powers the base using my design? He thinks he is so clever. He is not. He is a fool.
Ah, Viscera just keeps coming, doesn't it?
Amp unit energized. Area 1 online.
Dr. Modi has been torn to pieces by this mob. Modi? Ravity Modi? I only know her by reputation, but the sick shit she's done to people. Fuck.
Whatever you think of her, Peck, she's a lot worse. Believe me. Gun or not, I'm always armed.
Want to support me? Go to Nene Marie. Purchase a signed copy of my book. Yo!
Don't worry, your friends are next. Grace said that thinning a herd is good for the planet. Can't argue with science.
Remember, you got anything extra, food, hygiene, clothes, bagging up, taking outside. Just to let first remember, y'all one step away from being homeless. I don't care how much money you say you got or say you got. You can lose it all to be homeless, man. So make sure you get back out there. Hey, with that being said, let's say the women, the children, the elderly, the neutrons, and the civilians. Happy Sunday to everybody. I hope everybody ate safe and blessed. Make sure you keep your head on the swivel and watch that bush. Dangerous people out there, man. Will take somebody's lives, man. Hey, with that being said, we talking about CHFPs. We talking about MUWOP. We talking about the lawyers for MUWOP and Kenny Mac asking about dirt. We talking about all that. And we talking about blood victims. Again, to clarify. All right, so CHFPZ, I reported about it 13 days ago that CHFPZ had fired his lawyer and went pro se. And he is trying to get up out of there. He threw old Block under the bus and said that that the feds have those guys on camera. He has those guys riding in their cars on the still camera. Like he has them that they got them downtown. Like he put them out there. But he's saying that he never called D-Thing. He's saying that he called and informed him. He was on the phone with an informant the whole time. Now, I seen the video. And
that's right. You hit me, I hit back.
Like 3-4 people. And he was telling somebody else on the phone when he got in touch with them. It must have been an informant he was talking about. He had to call D-Thing because D-Thing had called Cheesy Kong back. He called Cheesy Kong back. And D-Thing, the one who asked Cheesy, can he get up out of there? Do we have a gun on him? And Cheesy lied and said, no. You know what I'm saying? And that's when you flip the camera and say, oh, block him. Now you see Moowop on the phone. You know, you see Moowop on the phone after that. And you see Teasy and them still in the stove. They still in the stove, waiting on them to come down there. Because why did they stay in the stove? Because they knew they was coming down there. So he threw Uglock under the bus. But that ain't the first throwing under the bus that you know what I'm saying? Before Teasy even did this, man. Moowop lawyer and Kenny had a question. They talked to Johnny in the FBI. They asked the FBI was they investigate OTF. Now, I don't know who paid Moowop lawyers. And Kenny Mac some kind of comes in to and Lil Durk come over that area. He like stay cousins and shit. He, you know, he like comes in to them. They know him really well more than a lot of people. So was he looking out for them? Or was they looking out for themselves? They was asking, was they investigating OTF? And they said no. Now remember, Durk replied to, you know, when I had reported about and a whole bunch of people reported about that they those out of that.
God damn, don't expect me to bury you too.
Story, you know, keep his name out of stuff. Why they put him up there? Why they put him
done.
in? That's what he's saying. I can't remember clearly what they said, but he said something of that nature. So they bent on somebody up to go up under the bus. We still don't know what Old Block wrote the statement that he made up in there because he's trying to get his statement on time. He made the statement when they first got grabbed. You know, trying to get his baby mama up out of that. So did he say that him, Bill Money, and Moowop him? We still don't know what Lowe said. We don't know, and they still ain't until it. We don't know what Lowe said at all. So yeah, Teasy, he trying to get up out of that. Teasy, they saying that he was a phone caller, and Teasy, he basically burying and making them some more. Very low block already, because when the feds go back to court, all they got to do is say, he's saying he wasn't there, we got proof of this, but not only do we want this on record, we want this on record that, you know, that Teasy was on the phone with D-Thang and all that. They already got it in the paperwork, though. They got D-Thang's number, the number that Teasy called. They got the analytics and everything, and they got his baby mama, D-Thang baby mama, to confirm it. And they got Teasy baby mama confirming that he sent up laughing emojis, you know. So these guys too, man. These guys too. I mean, unless they give up Lil Durk and some crime, and I don't think they know nothing about Lil Durk unless they make up some shit. You know, move on.
Show some respect for your elders.
So they know more of Lil Durk than anybody. They know more of Lil Durk than anybody. But Teasy then got a separation from them. They put it out there in the court. In the middle of court, they said that Teasy had a separation to get these guys. And he never understood it. Like, but they really have separation. He got separation. He was trying to get his case severed from them, and he the one who made the call. Without him, there wouldn't have been no Duck because he the one who seen Duck and was in the store with Duck. Duck didn't know who he was, him or Man. And then they, you know, after they got out there, they ran and caused commotion, and that's how they ended up in the last store with Teasy and Man on camera. Man was going to get the address for Teasy. Hey, what's his address? Go and get it. And Man walk out there, come back, still sees the address, and then related to D-Thang, roll the wheels. I know this for a fact. But the feds, then on Lil Durk, they asked about Lil Durk, the Lord was very sure that they asked the feds was investigating them. And not only that, Icebox was up there telling that Drew had came and purchased, they got $14,000 for a chain that Vaughn had put $2,000 on. So Icebox was giving up information. D-Thang, Sale Money, and King Von will be in the Fed. They will be locked up right now if they wasn't dead, man. Def had, you know, I ain't gonna say did them no favor because I don't like being nobody dead, knowing that you gotta go one day. But yeah, they will be arrested right now. But yeah. Moowop and that lawyer been through Durk up under the bus a long time ago. Durk up under the bus, Durk had his time and everything. And then after that, remember the lawyer stopped getting paid because the lawyer had came out and said that he didn't get paid. Moowop lawyer, he haven't got paid several payments. You know, that's what Moowop lawyer had said. The lawyer who was for him said that he had the payments had stopped like after a certain amount of time. So basically, after they got the evidence that came out, after they put the evidence out, they stopped paying the lawyer. Moowop them lawyers stopped. Moowop whoever was paying the lawyer stopped paying. You know, we heard about that too. All this is in the paperwork that I'm talking about for public record. Y'all can go and check for yourself. Pacer.gov. That's PACER.gov, man. You gotta pay for it, but you can learn it yourself, man. You ain't gotta believe me or the fake lawyers. You can go yourself and see what you think. But yeah, it's true. Just thought I had to break it down for the title. I was live. Something that's like a video. Then just a recap. Oh, Q50. He is a first-time offender. The first-time offender means it's your first case, and that's his first case. Now, with the parole, I don't know how his parole disappeared or anything of that nature, but they got a lot of new shit going on, man. I'm minus my 9, y'all. Play the kids. Inside his dope, roll up the crash, lights so bright, then they with just only the talking to
Some of you maggot munchers aren't worth a squeeze of the trigger.
Shootings in Atlanta overnight and in the early morning hours as the city works to combat a spike in violent crime since the 4th of July weekend. Now, first, police say someone shot and killed a man in a single vehicle wreck on the interstate. It happened on I-285 near the Benjamin E. Mays driving path, and it was around 11:30 p.m. Investigators believe the victim, Rudolph Johnson, was an intended target of a gun.
Insta-Kid.
Rudolph Johnson Jr., better known in the streets of Atlanta, Georgia as Lil Marlo or John Rude, was born May 1st, 1990 in the great city of Atlanta, Georgia. Marlo would actually grow up in the banking area of Atlanta, and he would actually be from the same apartment as fellow
Show some respect for your elders.
But the Niagara County Health Department simply ordered leads to be counted with further. Surprisingly, that action was not effective. However, El Canal was definitely close to the water. Response was to place window fans in homes with some residue left. It wasn't until the fall of 1976 that the leaks were even mentioned in any news publication, and health departments were slow to get any chemical testing done. However, once the initial testing was complete, people's fears were confirmed. A fighter jet roars out of a barrel roll so close to the ground that it clips a tree branch with its wing. Thousands of excited spectators watch in disbelief. Just hours earlier, the moon of Lviv airfield.
That's right. You hit me, I hit back.
14th Ukrainian military organized the Grand. Largely were escorted A fighter jet capable of dazzling stunts like the Blue Dragon Topaz was set to deliver a breathtaking display of tactical stars. But beneath the surface, cracks in the event's planning are already showing. Volodymyr Topanar, a seasoned pilot with 27 years of experience, had asked for practice flights at Lviv Airfield, get familiar with the layout, but the Air Force denied his request because it was too expensive. Since it was a military affair, Topanar didn't protest. This might sound dangerous to the general public, but not for a senior pilot in the Ukrainian Air Force. He was unfamiliar using military intelligence that performed his plan of teams countless times. For a pilot like him, unfamiliar forces is actually unusual. After all, those who practice in a war zone, things make that work. On the day, organizers switched those locations from one place to the other after
Ride the lightning, me puppets! Ride straight to hell! Sorry, no group discounts.
Days leading up, local pilots familiar with the site had raised concerns, describing the event's organization as chaotic at best. One even pulled out of the show altogether, citing poor preparation. It's becoming clear that the show is suffering from a shockingly poor standard of organization and planning. But despite these problems, Topanar pushes forward, focusing on the show's finale, a complex routine of groups, roles, and a daring low
Up close and very personal.
It has been a successful show to this point. The pilot's approach to Lviv Airfield begins with Max Airfield. Grateful responses make it clear that the site's layout doesn't meet their expectations. 3,000 feet long ground, including two years of revision. From the cockpit, Topanar and Goro don't crowd at all. Potentially deadly situation for those below. When Topanar finally spots the audience, however, great daring familiar with the site had raised those uneasy. The days leading up, local pilots familiar with the site had raised concerns, describing the event's organization as chaotic at best. One even pulled out of the show altogether, citing poor preparation. It's becoming clear that the show is suffering from a shockingly poor standard of organization and planning. But despite these problems, Topanar pushes forward, focusing on the show's finale, a complex routine of groups, roles, and a daring low pass over the crowd. It has been a successful show to this point. The pilots approach Lviv Airfield begin their retreat, and as they enter the airfield, the responses make it clear that the site's layout doesn't meet their expectations. 3,000 feet long ground, including two military officials. This would be hard to miss. From the cockpit, Topanar and Goro can't see the crowd at all.
Well, goddamn, don't expect me to bury you, too.
When Topanar finally spots the audience, they're not where they expect. They're on the opposite side of the plane. To make matters worse, the flight parameters provided by the Air Force don't match the actual terrain on the ground. Under pressure to complete the routine, pilots contact air traffic control for guidance. Ignoring the apparent confusion, the controllers tell the pair to continue executing maneuvers. And military pilots are taught to follow orders, which they do despite witnesses and violations. Topanar and Gorov thoughtlessly perform their routine for several minutes. They soon run into trouble and they attempt to execute a standard aerobatic move. Over the barrel roll, Topanar is able to set both engines at increased thrust, which causes their ships to fall. Flying slower than usual, the pair descends to 200 meters above the ground before immediately pulling up to enter a loop with a turn. The move is supposed to run fair to the spectators. However, given the mismatched layout compared to their flight plans, they are flying head-on towards a large group of people instead. As the plane exits the loop, it continues descending at high speed. Topanar fights to gain control of the jet, but it's getting too close to the ground. The plane begins to level out. It looks like the pilots might avoid catastrophe. As they approach the through line in front of spectators, they feel that it's too low to regain altitude in time. The jet's left wing strikes its refuge and veers toward the ground. Amazingly, the wingtip touches the concrete, and the plane quickly levels out, flying inches above the ground. Situation beyond safe.
Don't worry, your friends are next.
And the jet rushes past bystanders towards a parked transport plane. There's nothing they can do. Dora pulls the ejector toggle just before the jet collides with the parked aircraft. With this final lap, disaster strikes. On impact, the jet cartwheels into the air. After several rotations, it slams into the ground and explodes, hurtling into onloaders at high speed. As if this wasn't bad enough, the debris manages to catch and drag a barbed wire section along the asphalt, casting a morbid net of destruction. But some practice the time, others are frozen while they watch as 15 seconds, shrapnel and barbed wire fencing rip through a crowd consisting of many local families. When the wreckage finally comes to a stop, the immediate aftermath is shocking. So much so that some bystanders still struggle with the mental effects of what they saw. People cry out for relatives they'll never see again, and others simply walk away, unable to bear the sight of sacred loved ones. In some cases, these are beyond. In the park, every child watches the plane fly. He arrived at the show with his wife and 3 children. He tragically left the show with only 2 surviving sons.
My first thought was my wife and son. The runway was full of human remains. It was hell.
Topinar and Yegorov escaped unharmed, landing several hundred feet from the wreckage. The ejector seats saved their lives. It's impossible to imagine their thoughts going through their minds as emergency services try to deal with chaos over the border. Hope the
That viscera just keeps coming, doesn't it?
There was national outrage over the loss of life, and we stayed incredibly on the repercussions of both the scheme and the response.
Max Armor!
By 2002, after several tragedies led to well-funded safety efforts, planes were never supposed to fly directly over crimes or approach them head-on. Spectators need to be placed far from danger. Play areas require convenience systems for aircraft in case of emergencies. On top of that, pilots were especially spectators for flight distances from distant countries. But if it's communicable, it was good to start with at least precautions. Planes flew over the crowd repeatedly. Spectators have been gathered on both sides of the runway, leaving no space margin for error, and no human safety or plane was disaster. When the dust settled, the head of the Air Force dismissed the plane fell straight and escaped. Reaching the flight route doesn't have to but the whole picture is what happened and why the response was constant. Topinar wasn't some rookie pilot making careless mistakes. With 27 years of experience, it performed everything that
Up close and very personal.
Allegedly, evidence showed performing correctly during the flight, yet this was disregarded at his trial. The 3 judges overseen as employees of the Ministry of Defense were closely tied to the institution under scrutiny. So, what went wrong? 3 key factors stood out. First, the information provided to the pilots was incorrect. Topinar was given the wrong crowd placement and aerodrome data, instead of where spectators were positioned. He repeatedly radioed over traffic control for confirmation, but was told to carry out the wrong. This communication significantly increased danger to the people below. Second, the SU-27 fighter jet was flying lost power on its target. Investigators acknowledged it, but little effort was made to uncover why the plane suffered such a critical failure. The police were pleased that what he meant that the aircraft itself was fighting. By 2002, the military fleet was composed largely of 19 children.
Double point!
15% of the 70 planes were considered fit for operation. SU-27, flown at Skanita, had undergone faulty maintenance, and its engine RPM was reportedly lower than it should have been at the time of the crash. Topinar later argued that he reported these issues mid-flight, was ordered by ground control to continue the routine. The plane he claimed eventually became uncontrollable. And while more problems with the jet may have existed, The military investigation was unlikely to uncover or admit to them. Finally, the event itself was poorly planned from the start, giving most proper safety. A crowd had been placed dangerously close to the action. Conditions were evident of serious pirates and vendors, some of whom even refused to join. Yet,
That viscera just keeps coming, doesn't it?
keep them going, regardless of the risk. Despite these overwhelming response, the inquiry focused primarily on Sylvester. He was blamed for breaching regulations, even when he was of his name. At his trial, prosecutors ignored evidence of his correct maneuvers and instead disciplined his record. That said, open on decision, once without law, moments before the crash, acknowledged the jet had an engine problem and lacked the airspeed necessary for its next maneuver. Yet, he still attempted a high-risk stunt at low altitude, a decision that ultimately sealed the fate of the Su-27 and the people on the ground. The result of this final poor decision was the deaths of 77 people and a further 543 injuries, children remain alive, and parents trapped in the airfield. Although the president is not republic all figures to blame, the state's handling of the accident wasn't without its criticism. To begin with, the victims of the crash received questions. The state only allocated the equivalent of $200,000 shared between the families. According to a $7,000. Less money was allocated to the injured, who received extremely low payments to help with medical care. In one of the worst examples, a 4-year-old child was found lying on deceased bodies at the airfield. The trauma of the disaster affected his speech and impeded his mental development, yet his family was only compensated the equivalent of $2,000 by the Ukrainian government. Thanks to no actual accidents and new comic book.
Don't worry, your friends are next.
But it's doubtful that he was it also found 3 other officials guilty of criminal department orders, and 5 flight crews. All 3 were jailed for between 4. The pressure to continue the show would have come from senior officials in the military. It's also doubtful that only 3 officials were involved in negligence in the build-up to and during the show. No official information regarding the display and its separation from the press has been released. Released with the investigation results and final report remains the only person the entire jail term, yet authorities once a month is working to pay off millions in fines and forced to work on rollerblades. It's banned from driving vehicles, including bicycles. By comparison, Yegorov and 2 senior officials were released early. Another only received a suspended jail sentence and still works for the Air Force today. Watch this episode next. If you found this video interesting, please add track 360 feet underwater in a freezing metal box. A submersible and its crew face a deadly situation. Oxygen is running out, and the extreme cold is creeping in. They struggle to breathe as carbon dioxide heats up.
Oh, god damn, don't expect me to bury you too.
And no rescue. The terrifying legal life that unfolded over 140 hours and 15 watchful hours. The Johnson Sea is not just any submersible, a state-of-the-art vessel, a marvel of technology designed to explore the deep sea. Today's dive is supposed to be quick and simple. Just an hour of work in relatively shallow waters. The crew is going to dive down to the wreck of a Navy destroyer intentionally sunk off the coast of Key West, Florida, made an artificial reef. Once they get there, the mission is to locate a fish trap in the ocean floor, retrieve it, and then return to the surface. At the helm is Archibald Jacques Menzies, a only elected pilot for 1 himself. Alongside him is marine biologist Robert Meade. Together, they're sitting in the front compartment of the submersible, a 5-foot critic bubble designed for observation in ocean matter. This unique compartment offers a panoramic view of the underwater world, insulated to maintain a more stable, warmer temperature during longer dives. The rear compartment houses veteran divers Edwin Clayton Link and Albert Stover, a seasoned expert. This section of the sub is named as a has been designed for lockdown divers.
That's right. You hit me, I hit back.
Most of the vessels very untapped on the water. But unlike the printed bubble, the aluminum hull provides this insulation, which makes the rear much colder as the sub descends to greater depths. The only connection between the two compartments is a small window and an intercom system for communication. Stover and Link are only wearing shorts and t-shirts, thinking they won't need warmer clothing, and plan on leaving the sub for water. He, however, warns them it is cold. But they don't realize that realizing that their chilling temperatures really play a crucial role. The deck of this open, the team gathers to launch the launch. Among them, he's a father of the jungle. As they prepare for the dive, training pilots perform smooth especially he notices the carbon dioxide or CO2 isn't working in the pilot's helmet. But this isn't brought to Menzies' attention until he is seated inside the truck, ready to begin the dive. The rocket uses canisters of a barrel-lined chemical to absorb carbon dioxide, making it safe to breathe. Without it, CO2 could build up to dangerous levels, slowly suffocating the crew. Menzies, trusting his experience after over 100 dives, checks the airflow and the backup scrubbing vent. Confident that it will keep the air breathable, he decides to move forward, even though there's no way to check the CO2 level in the pilot's compartment. At 8:36 a.m., it's Steve. The water's off.
Show some respect for your elders.
Later, they reach a depth using the feet.
Max ammo.
Don't be surprised. Even the KGB couldn't kill me.
As the sub approaches the destroyer's wreck, they locate the fish trap resting in the tangled remains of the warship. Using the sub's robotic arm, they reach for the trap. But as they want to pull away from the wreck, a steel cable catches on the sub's hull. At first, the crew doesn't realize what's happening. Menzies attempts to move forward, but it won't budge. The sub is trapped, tangled in the cables of the old destroyer. Despite his best efforts, the 6 small motors that power can't move the wreckage. At 9:53 a.m., they alert the support vessel that they are trapped. A distress call goes out shortly after. They report that while trapped, they are in no immediate danger. By their calculations, the crew has about 42 hours of breathable air in its compartment and 61 hours in the driver's cabin. About 5 hours later, the Navy rescue ship stationed at Key West is dispatched out, making the 4 trapped men confident they will be freed soon. They don't know that time isn't on their side. The crew's air calculations assume the scrubbers will work at average temperatures, but as the cold sets in, their estimates become dangerously optimistic. They debate via intercom whether Link and Stover should attempt a lockout dive and manually reroute the The dangers of such a dive at 360 feet are immense. At that depth, the effects of deep diving will allow judgment and slow movements, making even simple tasks dangerous. The cold can cause hypothermia in minutes, and the heavy pressure makes breathing difficult. It will be a death wish. As time passes, the temperature in the rear compartment drops to 55 degrees Fahrenheit. The barrel fails to absorb CO2 as quickly. The effects.
Some of you maggot munchers aren't worth a squeeze of the trigger.
Every breath is slowly breath. Slowly letting this in long enough. Muscles still. And each breath is not just for the time, but let them breathe smoke. Every movement, dragging as the Cole becomes an enemy. These sinners come from. Meanwhile, the crew on the surface has since revived the rescue, lowering the hanging air in the sub, which led run for it. The longer they are trapped, the worse the situation becomes. After nearly 7 hours of the submersible being trapped, the Navy rescue ship finally arrives. Rescue teams scramble to reach the trapped sub, but pinpointing its location takes them some time. The divers struggle through the strong Gulf Stream currents and wreckage to get close to the sea level, but the area is a tangled mess in debris. Behind them now, engineers are doing their best to keep the CO2 levels in check in the forward compartments. Desperate, the two pour the CO2 absorbing chemical into a t-shirt only left with tank that helps circulate fresh air. The insulated acrylic bubble allows this makeshift solution to work temporarily. However, the scrubber has stopped working entirely in the rear compartment. CO2 is now building up.
Gun or not, I'm always armed.
Help with breathing. The cold rendered them almost immobile. Their bodies betraying them in a fight for survival. They are entering the early stages of hypercapnia, a condition where too much carbon dioxide builds up in the bloodstream, because of headaches, then dizziness, confusion, and eventually convulsions. On the surface, Link Sr. is watching his precious time slips away, knowing that the situation is growing more desperate with every passing minute. Around midnight, a second dive brings the rescuers even closer.
Heading fast forward on this shit show.
But they are blocked again by the mess of chaos. Meanwhile, one diver attempts to swim to the seabed. No match for the strong current. Efforts using another small star also failed.
They should call it quick revulsion.
Around 1 a.m. the next day, after being trapped for 16 hours, Benzies reports to the surface that Link and Silver are suffering from convulsions. The CO2 levels have spiked so high that Link and Silver's bodies are shutting down. They slip into unconsciousness. Their voices can be heard in turn at 20 hours underwater, diving bells from the Navy vessel report that preventing another rescue attack.
Bonus point.
God damn, don't expect me to bury you too.
This is the lifeline that the rescue desperately needs. The camera provides a clear view of the trapped sub for the first time, allowing rescuers to lower a grappling hook carefully. Using the camera to dive, they managed to snag the sub with a hook. With a single tug, the vessel is finally free from the wreckage. 7:53 p.m. 31 hours later on, the diving crew finally safe. Hundreds of years after every conversation rushed into a decompression chamber, they've survived their terrifying experience, protected by the instruments from the bottom, and moved them over. But in the rear compartment, Link and Silver are silent. Their bodies can be seen in the small portal, slumped over, motionless. The rear compartment is still pressurized, and it will take hours to safely depressurize it without causing further harm. The rescuers do nothing but wait, knowing the two have already gone. By the morning of June 19th, the compartment was finally open. The bodies recovered. The cause of death was listed as respiratory acidosis, the result of CO2 poisoning. Slowly, trapped in the cold, helpless, and the rescue.
That's right. You hit me, I hit back.
Father used to watch his son die in echoes of his disaster. Over the next 2 years, he developed the cabled observation rescue. He was designed to free trapped submersibles.
Max Armor.
He continued his work, connecting it back to the vessel, exploring the ocean, and contributing to the scientific breakthroughs. Watch this episode next. If you found this video interesting, please add a like and a comment. Mom, burning. This is the haunting voicemail left by a trapped woman as red-hot molten slag is around. Those who could not have seen it coming, this tragedy was far from a random accident. It's a sweltering summer day in Florida, with temperatures soaring to 85 degrees Fahrenheit. Power demand is at its peak, and Tampa's electric power plant is already struggling to meet. From the four massive coal boilers, only Unit 2
Amp unit activated. Please stand by.
It has become clogged and packed, making that situation even more precarious. So, what's the new plan? Rounds of 5 other employees before the maintenance. Among them is 41-year-old Antonio Navarrete. He's living level that about to become a father. Every day, they are supposed to find out if they're having a boy or a girl. Antonio lives with his parents.
Amp unit energized. Area 2 online.
We
now have broader access to the
the balls right now, I wouldn't even feel it.
He doesn't know he is about to perform
Modi
one of the most
acquired the
hazardous
inversion
acts at the power
warheads.
plant.
She what?
In front of him
There's
stands
two
a
things
massive
you
structure.
never mess with. A man's toothbrush and
The
his goddamn
humongous
warheads.
stolen boiler that burns coal to generate electricity. Unlike newer plants, Big Ben's boilers melt ash into molten slag, essentially lava heated to over 1,000 degrees. The slag collects at the bottom of the boiler and dumps into a water-filled tank where it hardens into glassy rocks. But today, the slag has built up and clogged a man-sized hole that it's supposed to drop through. And so the slag keeps building up on top of itself in the boiler.
With so much red tape cut
Down in
down,
the
I
cooling
may have become a victim
there's
of
a
my
separate
own
problem.
success.
Hardened slag is blocking the grinder that's supposed to break
Amp
into
unit
small
activated.
chips for industry.
Please stand by.
The staff needs to fix both these two issues.
Don't worry, your friends are next.
Production is stable. The safe way, you need to turn off the unit boiler and fix the blockage. But shutting down isn't clear so easy. It's like stopping a brake. Cooling the boiler and restarting will take hours, cost hundreds of thousands, and risk power outage. Instead,
Amp unit energized. Area 3 online.
while keeping the boiler running.
Full
They
power
allow
means
the
full
slag
grid
trap above to remain calm. Experienced
Someone took the
employees
hard drive with the
always
test
stay
subject
focused.
files.
With the company
Can't we
began
catch a
hiring
fucking
contractors.
break? Do not fret.
Antonio,
Tenacity and deductive reasoning should lead the
unaware
team to the hard
how
drive.
dangerous this situation
Interesting. There's an encrypted file in the database written by Technical Officer Anya Tanofsky. Clever minx kept a secret workshop that, quote, can be found if you're so inclined. Though most will be refused.
I'm old enough to know random targets aren't
blockage on top of the ground. Then, the open floor closest to the ground, known as the doghouse door. Antonio watches as the other 5 men take turns firing their high-pressure water blasters through the door to the rocks. Above in the boiler, open slag. It's like standing under a dam with a glowing crack, the red-hot slag pressing against it with relentless force. Then, about 20 minutes into the operation, without warning, the blockage at the slag trap suddenly breaks loose, releasing thousands of gallons of superheated slag. The lava gushes out of the tank through the doghouse door and covers the sheer volume and speed of the impossible.
easy when the target walks like mad after 8 years.
Slag glows like a river with fire.
Whether or not, I'm always on.
The intense heat vaporizes balls of moisture in the air, creating a scalding steam cloud that further intensifies the situation. Amidst the chaos, screams of pain and cries for help pierce the air. Some workers are trapped in a cauldron of fire. Advancing molten steam cuts off escape routes, transforming the area into a deadly furnace. Those terrifying moments, Antonio manages to reach for his phone. He dials his mother's number, but she doesn't pick up, so he leaves a voicemail that will haunt her forever. Mom, help me. Mom, I'm burning. Call the cops. The eruption was swift and merciless. When 911 call was placed, it's clear the control group has no idea of the full extent of the situation.
Southwest 95, that's the ad for the attention. Can you tell me exactly what happened?
We have contractors here who are opening up one of our slag tanks. Apparently it has raw milk and somebody is burnt real bad. That's another news ad. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's okay, so it's the patient now?
No, officially I'm calling about one. That's what he said. Nobody's called up here. Nothing official yet.
Okay.
Emergency responders arrive within minutes. The scene is catastrophic. Senior plant operator Michael McCord and contractor Christopher Irvin are pronounced dead on site. The other four, including Antonio, critically injured with severe burns covering large portions of their body. And the prognosis is grim. Burns from molten slag are among the most devastating injuries imaginable, causing irreversible damage to skin, tissue, and organs. All doctors can do is place the survivors in medically induced comas. The tragedy unfolded so quickly that even if medical teams had been on site, it's unlikely they could have saved the workers. Any rescue attempt would have likely caused further injuries that the intense heat made it impossible to pull anyone from the molten slag safely. The most obvious solution would have been to shut the boiler down. So why didn't they? Beyond the cost and time, there was another problem. Tampa Electric struggled to meet the electricity demand, especially with temperatures soaring and the July 4th holiday approaching. Even more people were at home, cranking up their ACs. If they shut down Unit 2, they would have to buy power from other utilities at a much higher cost. So, to avoid outages and meet demand, they made the dangerous choice to try and fix the clog in Unit 2 without turning it off. Another reason was TECO's decision to outsource these dangerous jobs after its workers and union members raised safety concerns, particularly about performing maintenance while the workers were running. By bringing in contractors, TECO could continue its high-risk task, but the contractors may not have been as familiar with the plant's aging equipment, which only increased the dangers. Although OSHA regulations give workers the right to refuse a job if they believe their life is in danger, despite raising concerns about the risks of working in the slag tanks while the boiler was still operational, the job proceeded with contractors instead. This move also created safety gaps because contractors weren't as closely involved in TECO's regular safety practices. Despite what the CEO claimed,
I see mention of ammunition in the documents. Likely what empowers that weapon. From her rigor-mortised hand to yours. Sticky fingers.
In the 20 years preceding the accident, more workers died at Tampa Electric's power plants than at those run by any other Florida utility. TECO registered 10 work-related deaths, while no other utility had more than 3 fatalities. But it's an incident that happened 20 years earlier, almost to the day, that raised a giant red flag. In June 1997, 4 employees were seriously injured when hot slag spewed from a tank during a familiar maintenance operation, causing first and second-degree burns. Sounds familiar? Well, shortly after this incident, TECO implemented a strict policy against performing maintenance on slag tanks while the boiler was operational. But somehow, over the years, the policy simply eroded. By 2015, union members started raising concerns that they were again being asked to work on slag tanks with the boilers running. Federal investigators found Tampa Electric ignored its own rules and initially fined the utility close to $130,000. However, as investigations were ongoing, TECO was ultimately charged with willfully violating work safety guidelines. 5 years after the incident, in May 2022, Tampa Electric admitted skipping mandatory safety training, a simple task that could have saved lives. As a result, the company was fined $500,000 and given 3 years of probation for knowingly violating the rule. For the victims' families, this fine was a mere slap on the wrist. While Tico eventually reached confidential settlements with them, no compensation could ever undo the loss. Despite the best efforts of the medical staff, Antonio Navarrete, Armando Perez, and Frank Jones all died in the days and weeks following the incident. The only survivor was Gary Marine Jr., Antonio's child would grow up never knowing their father, all because of the decisions made that day. Watch this episode next. If you found this video interesting, please add a like and leave a comment if you want to support the channel. Safety standards are written in blood. So in an industry where mistakes occur, you expect the King aircraft to have a perfect record.
Of course, to make an emergency landing.
There was a breakdown of the fraud in the FAA. This is a criminal cover-up. Nearly 100 incidents this year. Mounting pressure from regulators. Lawsuits, traumatized persons, whistleblowers. Understand why even own you could fly on their own plane. We're breaking down every major Boeing incident this year. The first takes place shortly after Alaska Air Flight 1282 takes off from Portland, Maine. Approximately 21,000 about half of it spent on the same aircraft. Now for uncertain California, Captain Nebraska it's flying at 14,830 feet. The pilots were bowed back. Seconds later, the cabin altitude warning was activated.
July 27th, 1990.
The captain's head is
inventory more subjects today.
At the same time, air rushes out of the cockpit so violently that the captain's headset is nearly blown off his head. The first officer's headset was fully out. They put oxygen masks on, and seconds later, the flight deck door blows open. He tears to the cockpit. Communication. Even the worst, they contact air traffic control and declare an emergency. Meanwhile, passengers remain cabin stay stunned. Oxygen masks automatically drop from above, the gaping hole on the left side of the aircraft. This was called door plug, a panel used to cover underneath the emergency exit in 226 of the flight. Down in the air. The boys use the emergency exit row at the
Anyone else see a giant fucking tentacle? Or is it just me?
You can afford an upgrade. Stop doing the ghost control suction with ghost frog and then hanging on for dear. After receiving alarming reports from the cabin, the captain starts the procedures to return to port. 2 minutes after door plug separation, ATC without the crew reported rapid descent and alerted emergency services. As the captain heads toward the relative safety of 10,000 feet, passengers wonder who
FAO, the director, progress report 11/8/1990. Contrary to what some may believe, I do not necessarily take pride in my work, but I am
safe. Thankfully, the two seats next to the host never occupied. The NTSB launched an immediate investigation. Alaska Airlines found that its fleet of Boeing 737 MAX aircraft as a precaution. The jet operated the flight was only 8 months old. The next day, the Federal Aviation Administration followed suit. They announced an emergency air readiness directive requiring nearly 200 Boeing 737s to be inspected. The NTSB's initial findings confirmed how fortunate the passengers and the crew of the flight were. If the aircraft had reached its cruising altitude of 70,000 feet, the chances of severe injury or death from sudden decompression lack of oxygen were much. Damage to the aircraft also suggested that the door was missing some bolts holding it in place. 2 days later, members of the public located missing items, including the plug from the plant. Finally, NTSB inspected some of the Falcon's factories and its supplier, Harris. They found that the door plug wasn't fully warranty with the aircraft, but nothing was fixed. And the witness said that the factory required the door plug to be removed to repair. A photo sent to a group chat by staff showed that staff forgot to keep the door in place.
Tear them to pieces!
Dr. Arnold.
The last time the door plug was opened, down this way, other airlines found loose holes in the door plugs that were They were active in the house that showed the response. The early evidence of the ghost.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna work through all this pent-up rage in no time. Eat dirt, you flying sack of shit.
Max ammo.
With a high-profile nature of the incident, Boeing is facing another criminal investigation by the Department of Justice. The flight made global headlines. It's the second time the 737 MAX aircraft grounded across the U.S. under pressure during winds and blown aircraft off the runway during takeoff from home. The system had failed even seconds earlier as Flight 153 encountered a sudden gust of wind that raised little of flight constitution. The rudder so flight constantly flying, flight control stopped.
Your skittering ass just got stopped, fucker.
Run slow, Flight 1539 could exit the runway while high-speed turning. Approximately 10 minutes after landing, the rudder pedals began working as usual. While testing, it turned out that a hydraulic valve became less responsive to exposed controlled temperatures. This jammed the rudder, and the pilot's control pedal became unresponsive. Since this was a warning event, no further action had been taken to inspect the director. The investigation is ongoing. However, due to the flight experience jammed pedals during landing and takeoff, the pilot's skill in response to the declining safety, the FAA restricted Boeing from expanding its factory until it fixed safety issues with the 737 aircraft. Just 2 days later, another Boeing plane had pilots being survived in space. One Air's cargo plane departed London Heathrow on the pilot. Only 30 minutes in, it encountered serious problems. While flying above the North Sea, 2 of the aircraft's electrical generators shut down, leaving Flight 211 only at standard power. Despite the failure of the new electrical buses, which will only distribute power to every system on board. Shortly after, the flight crew lost power. Without heating, the sensors measuring airspeed froze. The was ended the flight. The situation worsened. Electrical problems on the condition. This has been tied to the plane's autopilot as the crew follows the way Maryland. As systems failed one after another, crew for ATC of the electrical issues on board. These 4 radar vectors.
Somebody tell Carver I just won our headshot contest.
Nothing else failed to save landing. The weather conditions at Heathrow just up a minute they required. With the aircraft's condition, the crew diverted to action. Over 5 minutes later, safely landed. There was sneak left. Since the electrical buses blocked every system on the airport, rides on board and general public alert. Flight 211 is currently under investigation, even if it's a one-off incident where any other causes of accidents as Boeing would go on to demonstrate. Even unusual, Boeing didn't fly any of its commercial jets to the Cessna airship, preferring to stay under the radar. Less than a week later, two airlines Belgium flight 3111 takes off from Brussels. As one of the largest leisure and travel and tourism companies worldwide, its passengers are looking forward to a relaxing break in the Egyptian resort town of Sharm el Sheikh. Fortunately for the holiday makers, the flight came to Belgium. Shortly after takeoff, the crew was in the aircraft going south of the America. They perform a steady check in the air to identify the crew's flight. Boeing 737-800 is almost 6 minutes but the ship is presented a danger. The device automatically tells ATC.
Yep, you fuckers feel that one, don't ya?
And it broadcasts an emergency signal. Without this information, tracking the aircraft's position becomes difficult, particularly in busy airspace. Since the plane can't automatically communicate where it is, its traffic collision avoidance system is also less effective. In the worst case scenario, other aircraft might not detect Flight 3111. ATC would be powerless to prevent a mid-air collision. Under these risks, the crew decided to stop the flight, return to Brussels, landing safely a later. But as in service on other Boeing aircraft. Yeah. As federal former manager who worked at the factory where 737s were produced declared he would absolutely not they knew that the 737 jet as he saw the pressure floating under the Russian plane. Returning to U.S. soil, the United Airlines flight prepares for takeoff. This involved the opening of the system and alternation of international headway. Around midday, United Airlines Flight 35 departure San Francisco International Airport, headed to Osaka, Japan. Guns Airborne came home plane spotters and local airplanes captured a moment on the camera of a 275-pound tiger sustained falling in the airport staff car park. The crew, however, has no idea. They retract the landing gear and flying out. 5 minutes later, ATC informs the flight crew to confirm that a wheel is missing from their landing gear. The captain updates his passengers on the situation and decides to make an emergency landing back in San Francisco. After getting permission to leave the crew, Flight 35 is speaking of the
Remember the invention, the multi-phasic resonator. Use it to find the ammunition. That resonator plugs into the oscillation calibrator back at Tanafsky's workshop.
The flight team has decided to divert from Los Angeles.
Now there's literally nothing happening between your ears.
life-threatening Oh, we're voting for something. There's that man with the green on top. These things that's what released the new information at the time of the life and the investigation results. So, these are more details than made public. Especially across the week with that. Only until the next major incident can be planned. The following involves self-known fault. Today, Flight 802, Federation of 39 passengers, Houston is on its way across the Pacific to Auckland International Airport. Over the whole night, aircraft starts to settle and control the engine
everything. I thought we could fly to the roof and then going off the floor.
Flight inside the plane. Usually plane is broken, takes up a places, or people are going to food, fuel. But the first officer rescued by the whole aircraft out of its nose down. But the plane refuses to respond. Their instincts have gone dark. It was scary, kind of violent, and it seemed full of belongings scattered through the plane. Eyewitnesses report that several of the crew were unable to walk. Fortunately, doctors traveling on board helped the crew get the wound. Damaged internal roof panels, multiple injuries, and passengers' blood and steel. Since the flight is less than an hour from landing, it proceeds to Auckland International. They land safely, and 50 passengers receive treatment from paramedics. A passenger approaches the pilots to ask what happened. What now? And his only response was, I lost control of the airplane. The gauges went blank. As investigations ongoing, the incident occurred over international waters. The responsibility fell on the Chilean Civil Aviation Authority. The report confirmed the captain involuntarily moved forward. This is possible in flight. It would lead with accident critical. And worse, the captain briefly lost flight control. This highlights yet another case of actually involved. Has gone back to 2017 to the next station for customers. Technical switches move the seat. The box customers to flying.
Decoy running.
Was at this time the first stopped recognizing U.S. Navy approvals for Boeing jets as well. They left. We head back to the Netherlands for our next incident. The crew of this aircraft experienced a technical issue at the worst possible moment. KLM Flight 1074 is on its final approach to Amsterdam's Schiphol Airport when the crew initiated a missed approach. But instead of the typical reasons, like poor weather conditions or air traffic congestion, the Boeing 737 touchdown as they were not moving past 25 degrees. Under these circumstances, landing becomes a difficult problem. Aircraft is less drag to make the aircraft far more unstable. This is what the captain of Flight 1074 experienced.
very positive way here.
Heads! You lose. Like sticking a fork in a toaster. All aboard Weaver's Death Express.
Approximately 3.5 miles from the airport, the captain informed ATC that the blast had returned to the correct position. It is able to touch down 10 minutes later. Only his weakness is the blast. It's proven a minute for their respective camp. Yet another safety incident involving 737. Meanwhile, all incidents involving leadership, understanding the only two leadership team.
Okay, it wants numbers. Now what?
As much as 70% of its aircraft design is outsourced. Cost production. Next incident, a passenger was shot at their good news and bad news. Lot 1031 has been in the air for 6 hours and has a maximum capacity flight. It's on its final approach. It's about to touch down to especially the jump up. Minutes later, plane's main landing gear touches the rudder surface. The aircraft on the tarmac. Both tires on the nose landing gear instantly burst. The entire nose landing gear assembly collapses, and the aircraft slides to a halt. Meanwhile, the flight crew sees to the emergency evacuation of its passengers. The 737 used for the flight remained on the runway for inspection. Corendon Airlines later confirmed there was no damage to the plane's fuselage or runway, but haven't provided any details about the cause of the accident. The incident came only admitted breakdowns. Shocking, a FedEx operated Boeing 767 to emergency landing in Istanbul the day before the Corendon incident. Its front landing gear also failed, and the jet was filmed leading to a halt on the runway. Unfortunately for passengers, Flight 1031 isn't the last 737 accident we'll see throughout the year. By mid-May, Boeing's stock price dropped by 30% compared to the beginning of the year, in comparison to its reputation. This is stock shareholders signing off on a CEO pay package of $30 million. Just Southwest Airlines flight experience function Flight 746 reached its cruising Dutch roll without intervention. Unknown to the plane, officers did 3 multiple which was the case with Flight 746. Several minutes, the flight crew managed to return to patrol to drop control. They were reported to South Asia. Oakland International. 55 minutes later, they touched down safely with the only police passengers. The severity of the control is classified as Flight 746 as dangerous. The crash was grounded. Initial investigation was stopped. It also describes the structural improvement that the display of the vertical stabilizer section caused the failure of both primary and secondary ECU. Southwest
Jason 5 here, and these are all the locations for the documents in Terminus. As we continue, please like, comment, and subscribe. I'd highly appreciate it. There are a total of 9 documents for you to pick up, but one of them would require you to progress the main quest in Terminus. First document is uniquely qualified. It's on the railing of a guard tower near the spawn point. Just shoot the stack of papers and the document will drop. Second document is innovative technology. In the C tower, it would be on the server rack near the door. Keep the stack of papers for the document to drop. The third document is on the horizon. You would use to activate the void cannon, and after it's done activating, the document will drop right in front of the cannon. Fourth,
Ethereum-powered cannon. Count me in. Go back. I'm so pleased you're not dead.
I swear I'll pop a skull for every day this prison scope remains. Thanks for coming to Bodies by Weaver. Come again.
Document will drop right in front of the cannon. Port documents to transfer. So the crash door is dropped.
Sending frag.
Six and six documents, subject file 511, 32. Big and responsive and island. The island responsive. Subject document is subject file 74. On separate islands. The island. Like 11. Big and responsive and island. The island is at the bottom. Subject document is subject file 704. This on the spot.
Marking ammo cache.
Eighth document is such a fine thing. On the line of the ninth document is called what done. This requires the first part of the quest, then go under the sea tower and put exclusive trick. Go into the with the smooth ground to watch. I have myself and see on to the next one.
Here's how to collect all intas on the Black Ops 6 zombie here. There are 16 audio logs for each notification, and good friend. I argue that I would want 5 best actions for the FP that for the that have to be identified. But now, we will go to the activity don't need to go past the certain part and then activate that. Previously after we record audio logs to the specific intas, looking to record this back to the next week we will digital work of design and this requires program. You don't have to do a best to find out the right things. And the given to 50 tasks and each has to be done. There are 3 steps.
Code breaking's my forte. Swing by for a paid demonstration. Or just solve it on your own.
New and improved peck my ass.
One and another one and another. And you must repeat that as you do one thing.
Oh, look who's so smart. Too smart for Dr. Peck's help. It just shows how dumb you are.
Fuck center mass, I'm spraying some gray.
Max
Multi-phasic resonator calibrated. Target located. Loading coordinates.
About damn time. By the way, I've decrypted more Tanofsky files. Janus Global Ops developed an artificial intelligence called the Synaptic Algorithm Module. I want access. Just think of all the secrets it knows.
Who ordered deep fried corpses?
As it solidifies, the munition may consume some exotic energies. You will see what I mean. Remarkable. One of them appears to have dropped a plasma packet. Well, shit. The amp munition's out of sync with this dimension. Use the resonator to make it solid. Wow, the munition just wolfed that down.
Tear them to pieces.
Hope you left your body to science, because that's all you have left.
It has recombined to gas phase. Progress is gratifying.
I'm sure as shit doing my part. blindsided me. A fucking rescue operation would be nice.
Max ammo.
Scientist or specimen, you're dead meat now.
It was supposed to liquefy, not ignite. Does logic have no place here?
I'm gonna smell like blood for days.
Dear God, what a disgusting transformation. A race basket. I need a race basket.
These things buzzing around our heads will get annoying fast.
It's garbage.